Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Nisa Voices, where we are looking at a number of issues: faith, justice, and dignity. Our topic of discussion today is going to be uh, gender based violence or domestic violence. And we'll be looking at this particular problem in the context of the Islamic faith, because this discussion is brought to you by the Islamic Women's Initiative for Justice, Law, and Peace in its efforts to address this particular challenge. Now, with me, I have two ladies today to discuss this particular issue. Let me give them an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. By the names, Kirswa bint Yasmin. I work as a legal officer at Islamic Women's Initiative for Justice, Law, and Peace. I'm so glad to be here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everyone. I'm Magezi Mariam, a lawyer working with a woman company advocates.
All right. And your moderator, Kenneth Lukwago Anderson, to steer this discussion. The purpose of this discussion generally is to look at gender-based violence from the perspective of a human rights violation, but also what the Islamic faith actually says about this particular issue. Let me begin with you, Yasmin. If you can define for us what is gender-based violence in the context of Islam, in the context of the laws that we have, so that the person following this podcast is able to understand why it's very important for us to have this discussion.
Thank you so much. Gender-based violence generally refers to harmful acts that can be directed at a person based on their gender. This can be physical, it can be sexual, it can be economical or emotional. The examples of gender-based violence that we have include domestic violence, forced marriage, economic deprivation, and psychological torture. Yes, it can also be in form of online violence. Yeah.
And
Yes.
someone would wonder, why does this matter? Why should there be concern about gender-based violence?
Many people face gender-based violence in Uganda, but they are quiet. They do not come out to speak. Eventually, this affects them emotionally, and not only against the laws of Uganda, but it's also a sin in Islam. Yes, yes.
Can you explain a little bit? How is it a sin?
It's a sin because under the Quran, specifically under Surah Nisa, the Quran teaches us that men and women are created equally from one soul. They're created equally. So violation against one another is a sin because everyone is equal before the eyes of God. Allah, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
We have also a lawyer on this podcast. Do we have laws in Uganda, or even from the side of the Islamic jurisprudency, that address issues to do with gender-based violence?
Yes, we do have the laws, Mr. Moderator. But before I answer your question, I want to throw more light on the types of gender-based violence that we have, that she
Please.
has mentioned.
Please.
She spoke of the domestic violence or marital rape. So this domestic violence is basically happens between married people, between people who are living together, those who are cohabiting. Yes. So this is where a person, for example, a partner is hitting another. It's not specifically about men hitting women, because nowadays we have men crying because their wives are beating them. We have seen so many instances where men's genital parts are being cut off by the women. So it is two-way. Then she spoke of the early forced marriages. Early forced marriages, if we are to compare the two sides, the Islamic part and the secular part, in Islam, actually, these early marriages are allowed. Because according to the Quran, a woman is due for marriage if they start getting their menstruation period. And according to the current generation, girls are starting to get into their menstruation periods. When they are young, you find a girl who is 11 years having their periods. Does this mean that this child is allowed to get married in the Islamic context? Yes, as long as she has become a woman. We call that becoming a woman. Whether she's 11, whether she's 12, 13, yes. But in comparison with our law, the grand norm, the constitution, no one is supposed to get married below the age of 18. And where these two are in contradiction, in Uganda specifically, where the Quran and the secular laws are in contradiction, the constitution supersedes. So for the early marriages, we consider the constitution. Then she spoke of the psychological abuse. Psychological abuse is also a form of gender-based violence. This is where, let's say, you're married and you've been looking for a child for years. Now the man is putting it on the woman that you are the cause of this. You are the reason why we are not having children here. The in-laws are also torturing the woman, accusing her of causing the lack of children in the home. It is also violence, gender-based violence. Then we have the online violence. This has also become rampant these days, where a person will have little information about you, but because you did something or they have been paid by someone, they will go on the internet and start insulting you, bringing out, whether true or false, but bringing out everything private about you, putting it out there for everyone. That is also gender-based violence.
So it takes different forms.
It takes different forms.
As long as it is in the context of a relationship.
Yes.
A home.
The home was the domestic violence specifically. But the rest, even if we are not in a relationship, if I go to TikTok right now and I make an interview about you, not even an interview, but I just record a video about you, I said, no, this man is terrible. I knew this man in 1990. He raped a 1-year-old girl. He did this. I'm accusing you falsely. I don't know you.
So you are directing violence at
exactly.
me from a gender context.
Exactly.
All right.
It is also
But let's look at what the Islamic laws actually say about gender-based violence a little bit deeper, Yasmin.
Okay, like I'd said earlier, I mentioned the Quran, Surah Nisa, where the Quran states that men and women are equal. They are created from one soul. Then the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that the best among you are those who are best to their wives. This relates to those who are in marriage. This speaks to domestic violence. You cannot be best to your wife when you're hitting her. You cannot be good to your wife when you're treating her badly. So you must, according to that hadith, it teaches us that men must be best to their wives by not beating them, by not mistreating them, by not torturing them in any way. So Islam preaches peace, it preaches justice, it preaches compassion, it preaches mercy. It calls for mercy. There must be mercy in whatever you do, in whatever transactions or relationship that you have with someone, be it at work, be it at home, be it at school. You must treat people equally and with mercy, justly and justly. Yes.
All right. So it implies that Islam is a religion of peace.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Exactly. It's a religion of peace. Preaches peace everywhere, wherever you go. Yes.
All right. In the Ugandan context, we also have laws that have been put in place because we need to, inform people who are following this podcast that indeed there's protection out there. From the side of the Ugandan constitution, do we have the adequate laws required to address these issues?
Yes, we do have the laws. We shall start with the grand norm, which is the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, specifically Article 21. Article 21 preaches equality before the law. We are all equal before the law. Whether we are married, you're my husband, I'm your wife, Before the law, we are equal. No one is supposed to mistreat another. Then it also speaks about prohibition of discrimination. You're not supposed to discriminate anyone based on their gender. Uh, Aside from the Constitution, we also have the Domestic Violence Act. It basically preaches everything about domestic violence. No one is allowed to commit domestic violence against another. Remember, domestic violence is between partners, cohabiting or married. You're living together as partners, as wife and husband. You are bound by the Domestic Violence Act, and you should desist from all the acts that are not allowed by the Domestic Violence Act. Then we have the Penal Code Act. The Penal Code Act basically it gives out the stipulates the crimes that are committed and the punishment that you will receive if you commit that particular act. For example, if you rape a woman, yeah, the Penal Code Act has the sanction for you. Then we have the Sexual Offences Act. We also have the Children's Act. All these acts of parliament that regulate the gender-based violence in Uganda. Yes.
All right. But if we have all these laws, Islam is a religion of peace. You highlighted a number of Islamic principles that are against gender-based violence. You have also talked about the Ugandan constitution. Why do we continue to see the cases going up? Because if you see the annual police crime report, gender-based violence cases, in particular domestic violence, are continuing to go up. Yasmin, what could be the
Okay.
problem?
Um, the reason as to why these cases are rampant, are growing each and every day, it's because we have the law, yes, but this law hasn't been implemented. A few people know about this law. So they keep on committing these offenses, not knowing about the law. And once these cases are to be solved, they are usually solved at a family level. They are not forwarded to, let's say, police. Most of these cases are not forwarded to the police. They're not forwarded to court. They do not skip the first level. They are solved, people reconcile, and they go back home. And then these cases keep coming up. Yes.
All right. You want to add?
Yeah, I would like to throw more light. The other issue is awareness, lack of awareness. People are going through the violence, the gender-based violence, but they don't know what it is. They don't know what they are going through. They don't know that if they are going through that particular thing, the gender-based violence, they are supposed to report anywhere. People are okay with it out there because they are not aware that they have the right to say no to gender-based violence. Then the other is that the victims tend to be shy sometimes. For example, men are suffering. We see women coming out most of the times, but men are also suffering out there because of this gender-based violence, because they are shy. A man will fear to come out because how will the community look at this man crying?
Actually, most men will tell you it's by nature. They're supposed to be strong.
Yes,
and
exactly.
resilient.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why it is still on a rampant. Then ignorance of the law. It's also part of the lack of awareness. People don't know the law. People don't know that this is affecting them and they're supposed to use this particular law to get justice. Then the other is culture. For example, in our cultures, women are not supposed to come out if they are going through anything in their marriages. Culture, religion, you're not supposed to embarrass your partner in public because they did something to you. But remember, this is gender-based violence. So that is also one of the reasons. Then the other is access to justice. Access to justice. Some people are scared of lawyers. Some people are scared of courts.
Others cannot even afford a lawyer.
Yeah, right. But nowadays we have organizations, for example, the IWILAP. Yeah, you can approach those people. They can help you. Then the other is lack of stringent laws. A person will beat their wife or beat anyone, rape someone, go to prison for 1 month, 2 months, get a very little punishment. then they are set free again. That person is going to commit the same crime again. Gender-based violence will not stop because of the lack of stringent laws
All
to
right.
stop these people.
All right. She talked about IWILAP, Islamic Women's Initiative for Justice, Law, and Peace, and how you step in to help victims in this kind of situation. What have you been able to do?
As IWILAP, we have a legal aid clinic where we receive such cases. So once such cases come to us, we dig into the case, we get the facts, we report these matters to police, and we see that the person who is affected gets justice. We have also been sensitizing some communities on gender-based violence as an organization to see that gender-based violence does not increase in communities. We preach the law, what the law teaches about gender-based violence. What do you do in case you find yourself in such a situation? Where do you go? So yeah, we've been carrying out such activities to ensure that gender-based violence gets reduces in communities.
All right.
Yes.
I also understand you have a facility here under your organization that is helping with the rehabilitation of the victims. Can you talk more about that also?
Yes. As IWILAP, we have a healing cycle where we bring in like those victims. For instance, someone has called us. She's going through torture. She's mentally not okay. She needs some psychological support. We have the healing cycle here. They can come, they speak to a therapist so that we see that they are mentally okay and stable. We see to it. That's the aim. That's why we have the facility here.
All right. Now let's look at the intersection of faith and the law, and you look at some of the complementary goals, the good things that actually Islam talks about, uh, gender-based violence generally, uh, how it discourages gender-based violence. Um, let's try to focus a little bit in that particular area. What do you think would be the role, for instance, of faith-based organizations or religious leaders in dealing with this problem? Or do you think there are specific people out there in communities who can help to deal with this particular problem? Maybe duty bearers, religious leaders, and so forth.
Yes, I think that religious leaders can help end gender-based violence in communities through their sermons. Since these people are trusted so much in communities, so during the sermons, if they speak against gender-based violence, men who are carrying out gender-based violence in their families will desist from the act since they've had it from the religious leader. So through sermons in the mosques, community leaders also as well, they can preach against gender-based violence. So if they talk about it, they sensitize the community against gender-based violence, this act will get done and to be reduced in communities.
How about a community level? What can be done?
At community level, for example, organizing clinics, for example, IWILAP gets a day, tells the particular village that today we are in your village, we are coming. Please come and listen to us. Then they are going to sensitize those people about what gender-based violence is in their local languages that they understand. Tell them that different forms of gender-based violence. Tell them that if this happens to you, you can go here to seek for help. Yeah, give them a way through. Then maybe through the radio shows, because most people listen to radios out there. Through internet, podcasts like these, people will listen and will learn something out of it. Yes.
So it's about sensitization,
It's about
community
sensitization.
sensitization. All right, and you think this will help to deal with the issues?
I think it will help.
You mentioned legal clinics. Have you conducted any as IWILAP?
Yes.
What's some of the cases that came out?
We recently had a conference, a Muslim Women's Conference in Budaka. There at the conference, we had a legal aid clinic. We had so many gender-based cases come up during that conference. So by holding such legal aid clinics, we can get to know what people are going through in communities and how we can help them. Yes.
All right. And I'm told one of the key issues that can actually help to solve this problem is for the victims also to speak out. But sometimes, like she stated earlier, sometimes people are ashamed to come out. How would you encourage a victim, somebody of domestic violence, to actually speak out?
Uh,
And
by
why is it important for that to happen?
Okay. We can encourage victims to speak out by ensuring their security, because most people don't want to speak out because they are scared. What will happen to me when I speak out? For instance, someone, let's say, like, okay, for instance, was it like yesterday? I had a story on radio station. A man, her daughter was raped. But since the family was ganging up, she was raped by a family member. But since the family was ganging up against him, saying you should not report this person who has raped your daughter because he's a family member, the man had to pull out of the case. He called and told the radio presenter, please stop pushing this case further because I'm receiving threats. So once such a person gets security and affirmation that nothing is going to happen to you, we have to we have to ensure protection of such victims. Such people will be encouraged to speak up. So this father is scared to speak out because he's scared. What will my family say? Like, if this person is arrested, he's scared of the consequences. He's saying, what will the future of my child be once I speak out? So such a person needs just to be assured of security, protection, so that he can be able to speak up.
Yes, I actually agree with what she said.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree that because in some cases, this side, aside from the gender-based violence, for example, criminal cases, a person will witness a murder, but they will not come out because if they come out, the community will gang up against them. Sometimes we are forced to take those people out of the community they are living in, put them somewhere secure where they will be safe. And in that way, they will come out and speak the truth,
All right.
which will end that act from happening again.
All right.
Yes.
Now, we are coming towards the end of this discussion. We want to look at the best way forward, having taken into account the fact that gender-based violence is not good because of the implications, which may include even loss of life and property and breakup of families, among others. How can we conclusively deal with this problem? I want to begin with you, Yasmin.
Okay. We can first of all we can encourage men and boys, like in cases of domestic violence, men and boys to we engage them and encourage them to be protectors instead of being perpetrators, like being involved in this domestic violence. Teach them about the law.
You
What
seem
the
to
laws
suggest that it's only men.
No, like I just gave an example of domestic violence. In
Mm.
cases of domestic violence where men are involved. Yes.
Mm.
So like yeah, we encourage them. Then also we engage religious leaders. We engage them through trainings and seminars on gender-based violence. We educate them about the laws so that they can go back to communities, mosques, and preach against gender-based violence. Then also we can like as IWILAP, we have legal aid clinics. So setting up legal aid clinics in different communities and teaching people against gender-based violence will help end the act in communities.
Counsel.
Yes, please. Personally, being an advocate against gender-based violence, I believe that stringent laws, if they are put in place, they will help end this gender-based violence. For example, I don't believe in a man, a 50-year-old man, defiling an 11-year-old, taking him to prison for a month or two, because sometimes it happens. People will say there is we don't have money to prosecute the case. People will say no, lack of enough evidence, but this man actually committed the crime. I believe in this man. There are countries where these people are hanged. Those are stringent laws. You've defiled a 9-year-old, you were a 50-year-old man, probably the uncle to this child, because you're supposed to protect. And instead of protecting, this is what you've done to the girl. You're taken to prison for 2 years, 3 years, and then you're set free. No, I don't believe in that. This person should be hanged. This person should be castrated.
Oh,
Yes.
mm.
Yeah, those stringent laws.
How about if it's a woman?
If it's a woman, yes, she should. But there are rare cases. A woman raping.
They are rare, but they also
they are rare, but
happen.
they happen. Yes. If you are a woman and you're in the same position, yes, I'm preaching for stringent laws. These are harsh laws. Let them be implemented. These people will stop committing the crimes. Because who will want to defile when they saw their neighbor or the person in their village being hanged because they committed the same crime? But this policy of waiting, no, good thing after 4 years he will come back. Then this one will commit the same crime, saying just 4 years, what will happen?
As a
go
lawyer,
4
you
years and
understand the
come back.
problems that are existing on the side of prosecution,
Yes.
evidence gathering, and things like that. Could it be maybe that's an area that needs to be fixed?
Yeah, I was also coming to that.
Mm.
We have issues with delayed justice, but the Judicial Commission has also put in place things like the mediation part, arbitration part. Yes, sometimes they fail, but where it fails, that's when you continue to the other part. But this mediation session is like, it can't go beyond a month, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, so I believe that they are putting in place some, I don't know how to say it. Okay, some
measures.
yeah, to end the delayed justice. But yeah, it is also an issue. The delayed justice is an issue. And then the other ways, promoting awareness. We have the laws in place, but the crimes are still committed.
Exactly.
So these laws need to be implemented. Then the other disease that we have is corruption. Corruption is very high at all levels. Sometimes a rape case will not survive police. The file will disappear, but how has this file disappeared? It's corruption.
Mm.
If it goes beyond this, then it will not survive the next level, corruption.
Mm.
So once we fight against most of those, then we shall ably fight gender-based violence.
All right. So as we come to the end of this discussion, this episode of this podcast, I
Yes.
would like to hear your closing remark, your message out there to communities. It could be a victim of gender-based violence. It could be a duty bearer, somebody you expect to take action. What kind of message would you like them to have?
My message goes to the victims mainly. I encourage all victims out there to speak out. Do not keep quiet. Once something happens to you, speak out. Reach out to someone. Go to the police. Go to the local council chairperson. Yeah, and report the matter so that you see that you receive justice. Do not keep quiet. The moment you keep quiet, this disease will keep growing in the communities and in your families. Yes.
Any message from IWILAP to the people out there?
Or IWILAP, as IWILAP, we encourage all victims to speak out, to reach out to us so that we can handle such cases of gender-based violence. For instance, we have anyone who is going through torture, psychological torture, or mental illness due to gender-based violence. We have a healing cycle. You can come here and you speak to a therapist. Yes.
How can we reach you? How can the victims reach you?
We have a toll-free line. Yeah, we have a toll-free line. We have social media handles. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Linked. We are all over Instagram. You can reach out to us. Yes, and then you receive the help.
All right, your closing remarks.
So my message to the victims out there is not far from what she has just said. Yes, it is not okay for you to go through what you are going through. It is not okay. Please come out and speak up. Come out, seek for help, and then you'll be helped. Yeah, that's it.
All right. I want to thank you, ladies, for sparing time to educate the followers of this podcast about gender-based violence. We hope this message helps to build resilience, especially among the victims, to be able to speak out, but also the duty bearers to take action and help the victims to overcome the challenges they are facing. But most important also is to have safe families. We need to build a country where there's respect for gender. We are all created in the image of God,
Yeah.
the one that the Muslims call Allah.
Yes.
Therefore, we need to respect each other and ensure that we live in a community where there is peace and justice. With that, we come to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and look out for the next episode that will be coming your way as we continue discussing issues to do with faith, justice, and the law.